Hey guys, today I'll show you a zombie horror thriller TV series named Z Nation Season 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Previously on Season 1, Roberta and her group finally arrived at the research station where she clashed with the biovirus traitor. The dead Cassandra revived as a half-zombie hybrid. Murphy, feeling betrayed, trusted no one and triggered a missile aimed at the research station. The communicator's base was also bombed. At this moment, the NSA's base activated its defense system and successfully destroyed the missile in mid-air. The explosion's shockwave knocked the communicator to the ground and the heat from the bomb melted the zombies frozen in the snow. Back with Roberta, everyone drove away from the missile-bombed area. The research station was hit, and Roberta was also affected by the blast, but fortunately, there were no casualties when the vehicle overturned. Meanwhile, the communicator found many zombies awakening in the snow. He climbed a high tower to shoot at them. Lacking combat experience, he missed repeatedly. He hurried downstairs to check and encountered a zombie. He managed to kill it only when it got close. Another zombie chased him, but his gun got stuck in his pocket. He quickly fled for his shitty life, with the zombie in hot pursuit, mistaking him for a girl. When the communicator ran back to the control room, he tripped over some debris. As the zombie entered and attacked, he picked up his gun and shot it dead. He then barricaded the control room door with debris to block further zombies. He used the global broadcast system to inform the world that the vaccinated Murphy was the sole antidote for the virus, promising a substantial reward and supplies to anyone who could bring him to the disease control center. Priority for vaccination would be given once the antidote was developed. After a while, Mac found Addie outdoors. Her tribe had been destroyed, leaving only her fighting off zombies. Mac asked her what had happened to her tribe. It turned out that the tribe's young boy discovered a sinister plot by the tribe elder. He then set fire to all the buildings and released the punitive chamber's zombie bear, leading to the tribe's destruction and the death of almost everyone. The two reconciled and set off to find Roberta and her group. Murphy was gathering supplies at the supermarket with some zombies when a bounty hunter suddenly appeared to flex his shooting skill, shooting all the zombies dead. Recognizing Murphy from the description broadcasted earlier, the hunter revealed that Murphy was the government's wanted man and planned to capture him for the reward. The hunter used a stun gun on Murphy, knocking him to the ground. At that moment, the mutated Cassandra appeared from behind and fatally stabbed the bounty hunter, rescuing Murphy. Murphy, accompanied by Cassandra and the mutated bounty hunter, proceeded to their next destination. Meanwhile, Roberta and her group were all weak and exhausted. She left the sniper to take care of Doc while she went to search for food. After walking for a long time, she was so drained that she considered ending her life with a handgun, not wanting to starve or turn into a zombie. As she was about to pull the trigger, she suddenly heard a young girl's cry for help. The girl was being attacked by a large group of zombies outdoors. Roberta arrived just in time to save her, killing the zombies with her knife and shooting those around her, eventually collapsing from exhaustion after killing all the zombies. Back to Murphy, he once again took control of a group of zombies. He then made the zombies perform a chaotic hormone yoga scene, which ended with the zombies biting each other, terminating the dreadful performance. Back with Roberta, she woke up on an unfamiliar bed, using a lamp as a weapon to cautiously check the house. She then met the young girl's family, who provided her with food to regain her strength. Elsewhere, Mac and Addie were at a parking lot gathering supplies when they heard zombies. As they went to investigate, a zombie suddenly appeared and charged at Mac's muscles, who promptly shot it dead. More zombies appeared, grappling Mac tightly, making it impossible for Addie to attack. Just then, the zombies were shot dead by the sniper, who had come to their rescue from a distance. After regrouping, they decided to set off to find Roberta. Meanwhile, Roberta, carrying supplies from the young girl's family, met up with the others on the road. They continued driving to their next destination. Upon reaching the next town, they encountered many bounty hunters, all looking for Murphy. The sniper, spotting a strip club, suggested they might find Murphy there. Entering the club, they saw Murphy leisurely drinking and binge-watching Daniel C.C. horror movies. Roberta immediately grabbed him, and the surrounding zombies, stimulated by the commotion, were ordered by Murphy to halt. Roberta furiously scolded Murphy, who retorted that any actions taken to preserve his life were justified since he was humanity's only hope and his life was more valuable than others. At this moment, the sniper stepped forward to restrain Murphy, but Cassandra immediately intervened, forbidding anyone from harming Murphy. Seeing Cassandra alive but devoid of humanity and only obeying Murphy's commands, the sniper was both relieved and dismayed. To lighten the mood, Murphy decided to entertain everyone with a show, hoping Roberta could rest for a while. He then had a female zombie perform on stage. Everyone was stunned to see a zombie pole dancing in TikTok style, spinning faster and faster on the stage until its arms split and fell off the stage. Then a stranger appeared, immediately pointing a gun at everyone. He was a special agent who was also there for Murphy, planning to take him to the disease center. However, Murphy had no intention of being taken away by anyone and quickly had Cassandra activate the noise, which woke up all the zombies. They began attacking everyone. The special agent shot the approaching zombies while Roberta and her group also launched an attack, killing a large number of zombies. Murphy quickly fled the bar with the agent in hot pursuit. When Roberta ran outside, zombies chased after her, gripping her tightly. The sniper picked up a fire extinguisher and filled the zombies with the extinguishing powder, causing them to explode and die. Then, everyone successfully escaped the bar, ready to take down the bounty hunters. They decided to capture Murphy and forcibly take him to the disease center. On the other side, a survivor from the female tribe, the blonde woman who was pregnant with Murphy's child, set out to find Murphy. Back to Murphy, he was desperately running in the city when suddenly a ruthless mafia passed by in front of him. The special agent immediately shot the driver in the car, causing it to lose control and crash nearby. After the mafia members got out, they were immediately shot by the agent. Other teams appeared everywhere, ready to capture Murphy for the reward. Then Roberta was attacked by a bounty hunter, and everyone kept running. Then, the mafia boss bombed Roberta with a rocket launcher, hitting a car on the road. Everyone quickly fled the scene, and Murphy continued to run around, with the special agent in hot pursuit. Later, Murphy controlled zombies to block the agent's pursuit. Afterward, Murphy saw a strange woman driving by and approached her asking for a ride. However, the woman turned out to be a bounty hunter and immediately shot at Murphy with a rubber bullet, causing him severe pain and making him fall down. When she approached to capture Murphy, Cassandra pounced from behind and bit her. Murphy got up, ready to continue running. The sniper immediately tackled Murphy and took out a rope to start tying him up. At this moment, the mafia boss fired a missile with a rocket launcher. The sniper immediately dodged, but was affected by the explosion and fell to the ground. Then, zombies also chased after them, and the mafia boss immediately turned to run. Doc quickly rescued the sniper, and everyone continued to fight against the surrounding bounty hunters. Faced with danger, Murphy had a large number of zombies actively following him. Murphy ran into an abandoned hotel and directed the zombies to set up an ambush. Mac and Addie were also chased by a large number of zombies. Then, both entered the abandoned hotel. Later, other bounty hunters also entered the hotel looking for Murphy. At this time, Addie was attacked by zombies, dropping her heavy club in fear. Without a close combat weapon, Addie struggled in the fight, throwing zombies aside. She kept shooting but missed her targets. Just as a zombie was about to bite Addie, Mac timely killed the zombie. The special agent spotted Murphy running away on the street and immediately gave chase, eventually following him into a building. Inside, the agent found Murphy standing still and approached from behind to attack him with an iron rod. However, it turned out to be a zombie set up by Murphy. The agent quickly shot the zombie dead. Meanwhile, Cassandra ambushed the agent from behind, attacking him with an electric shock device, which had no effect. The agent managed to break free and shot Cassandra down before making his escape to continue the search for Murphy. Doc believed Murphy was hiding in a hotel, but bounty hunters upstairs started shooting to prevent him from entering. As Doc prepared to stand up, zombies suddenly burst out of a car, scaring him into jumping out from cover. Luckily, the enemies upstairs missed him, and Doc quickly rushed into the hotel. Inside, he and a sniper exchanged gunfire with the enemies. Doc then prepared to sneak attack by locating the enemy's position, sneaking up to the room door and bursting in with his gun ready. Unfortunately, his gun jammed. He rushed forward to fight hand-to-hand, knocked the enemy to the ground, and picked up a nearby bottle. The enemy pulled out a knife and attacked, but Doc dodged and struck him down again with the bottle, then continued to punch him. However, lacking experience in killing, Doc was thrown to the ground by a counterattack. Just as the enemy was about to strangle him, Doc slapped the cabinet, and a knife fell from it, which he used to kill the enemy. Murphy, who had been hiding in the wardrobe, took the opportunity to escape. Back to Roberta, she entered the hotel and was attacked by an enemy. She charged forward and fired her gun, the bullet piercing the enemy's cheek. Enraged, the enemy sprayed bullets until running out. Roberta then attacked, shooting the enemy in the shoulder. Caught off guard, she was knocked down by a gunshot from the enemy, who then prepared to kill her with a knife. At that moment, the special agent arrived and killed the enemy with a rod, rescuing Roberta and continuing the search for Murphy. Meanwhile, while dodging zombies, Addie became separated from Mac. The two fought off zombies in the corridor while trying to escape the hotel. Later, Addie managed to leave the zombie-infested corridor, while Mac hid in a completely dark room, cautiously moving forward to check it out. On another front, Roberta and her group reached the rooftop and found Murphy. They approached him, and Murphy told her he couldn't bear the pressure of being chased anymore and suddenly jumped off the building. Roberta quickly checked and found that Murphy had only jumped into a pit of corpses and then continued his escape. Everyone hurried downstairs to catch Murphy. Back to Mac, he was surrounded by a large number of zombies in the stairwell. Hearing his chicken cries for help, Addie rushed to rescue him, but the door was locked and bulletproof, so shooting it did not help. Eventually, Addie managed to pry the door open, but by then, Mac had already been bitten by the zombies, mutated and turned. After helping him find peace in hell, Addie left the scene. Murphy was preparing to drive away with Cassandra when Addie suddenly smashed the window and gave Murphy a thorough beating. She dragged him out of the car, unleashing all her pent-up anger. It was only then that everyone realized that Mac had already died in the hotel. Afterwards, the group, including Murphy, prepared to move to the next location. After a while, the car was so badly damaged that they had to continue on foot. Later, while observing the situation from a hillside, they saw a truck passing on the road below. Suddenly, they were attacked by a gang of bandits. The truck had no choice but to stop and prepare for battle. The old man from the cargo truck led his group to fight back against the bandits. At this point, Roberta decided to step forward and help the old man. After the fight, they were able to hitch a ride with him to continue their journey. The sniper killed a bandit on a motorcycle with one shot, and Addie used a large stick to knock another bandit off the vehicle. After dealing with all the bandits, they discovered that the truck was full of sick people. The old man thanked Roberta for her help and agreed to take everyone to the next town. He informed Roberta that the patients on the truck were suffering from radiation damage and wouldn't live much longer. Before setting off, Murphy and Doc hid in the truck and smoked zombie tobacco, which the truck driver explained was made from zombies at the greenhouse. On the road, they discovered a corpse with its face chewed off. The old man explained that it was the work of ferocious zombies that specifically target human faces and are extremely fast. The special agent spotted the ferocious zombies approaching and immediately opened fire. Roberta also fired desperately. Although the zombies were hit, they continued to run. Even the sniper had trouble hitting the frenzied zombies, needing several shots to bring them down. Suddenly, they encountered more bandits on the road and immediately returned fire. Roberta killed a bandit hiding behind the truck, while the bandits on the hill were killed by zombies. More bandits followed, with Doc and the driver specifically targeted. The bandits jumped onto the truck and demanded it be stopped. At this moment, Cassandra also jumped onto the truck and began devouring the bandits' smelly parts. Fearing danger, Doc and the driver jumped from the truck and escaped. The bandits then hijacked the truck and fled with its contents. Roberta noticed that the truck carrying the sick people had fallen behind and told the old man to stop and wait. The truck carrying the patients suddenly stopped and couldn't be restarted. At that moment, Murphy sensed a strange signal from the zombies and alerted Doc to get ready to leave. The frenzied zombies appeared behind them. Murphy concentrated on trying to control the frenzied zombies, but the radiation had mutated their brains, making them uncontrollable. Everyone quickly fled back to the truck. Addie successfully started the truck and they drove off, soon reuniting with Roberta. However, the frenzied zombies quickly followed. Suddenly, a zombie burst out and knocked the special agent to the ground. Roberta opened fire, and after the zombie was repelled, it immediately fled. The group continued driving. After a while, the old man spotted the hijacked car parked by the roadside and decided to stop and check its condition. However, Murphy immediately drove away, leaving Roberta and her group behind, and headed towards the greenhouse. The old man continued to drive forward, but soon zombies started chasing them from behind. At this point, the sick patients in the vehicle couldn't hold on any longer and died, turning into zombies themselves and attacking the others. Many of the patients transformed into zombies, ready to attack Addie. She immediately ran towards the front of the vehicle to escape, with the zombies continually moving forward. Doc fired his gun, taking down some zombies, and the special agent killed the crawling ones. However, the frenzied zombies were too fast and managed to dodge everyone's shots. Then Roberta instructed everyone to jump out of the vehicle to escape the zombie attack. They all quickly jumped out and fled. Unwilling to leave the cargo truck, the old man continued driving forward and eventually got rid of the zombies, but he was ultimately killed by them. Doc told Roberta that he thought Murphy would head to the greenhouse, so she decided to drive there to catch the fleeing Murphy. It turns out the greenhouse is managed by a researcher who produces zombie tobacco for the mafia. The researcher regularly sends villagers into the greenhouse to collect materials for the tobacco, telling them that deep inside the greenhouse there are herbs that can cure the zombie virus. The villagers support the researcher and voluntarily risk entering the dangerous greenhouse. Later, Murphy meets the researcher and demonstrates his ability to control zombies. He then reveals bite marks on his body, claiming he is the legendary bounty target. Murphy hopes that by helping out, he can avoid being taken to the disease center. However, Murphy questions the authenticity of the zombie antidote. The researcher tells him that there was a professional botanist here who left experimental records after being killed by zombies, which included a successful antidote recipe. But the ingredients for the antidote need to be collected from deep within the greenhouse. At that moment, screams are heard outside. The villagers are being bitten by the greenhouse zombies. After checking the situation, the researcher orders his men to kill the injured villagers, then sends another villager to gather the herbs. Meanwhile, the virus trader secretly observes Murphy from a hiding spot, planning something sinister. After a while, Roberta and her group arrive at the greenhouse. They tell the guards that they volunteer to be adventurous villagers and successfully enter to look for Murphy. Hearing the villagers' screams, they quickly go to check and find the villager being attacked by plant zombies. The special agent shoots, but it has no effect. The plant zombies are entwined with plant cells throughout their bodies, bound by plants, and their movement is restricted. They only die when their heads are completely destroyed. The agent uses a weapon from the ground to smash the zombie's head, successfully saving the villagers. Back to Murphy, he prepares to enter the greenhouse with the researcher. Once inside, they are caught by zombie vines. They quickly cut the vines, but Murphy connects to the plant's consciousness and suddenly feels pain. As they proceed, they encounter more plant zombies. Murphy then controls the zombies to retreat, and they finally reach the deepest part of the greenhouse. They find the herbs needed to make the antidote. While collecting the plants, a large plant zombie awakens. Murphy quickly grabs the herbs and leaves the scene immediately. Addie found a communication device on the truck and successfully contacted the communicator. She also obtained the coordinates for the disease center. Meanwhile, the virus trader was secretly observing from the side. Suddenly, the NSA's base lost power. After a while, the researcher followed the research report to create a plant-based antidote. He injected the antidote into a zombie's head to test its effectiveness. The first zombie, after receiving a large dose of the antidote, began to convulse and then exploded. Murphy quickly covered the head, but it exploded immediately. The second zombie, injected with a small amount of the antidote, showed no reaction. The third zombie, receiving a medium dose, was able to speak normally. Both were thrilled, believing they could develop an antidote for the zombies. At this moment, Cassandra informed Murphy that Roberta and her group had arrived at the greenhouse. Murphy then met with Roberta and shared the news about the antidote. He suggested they all enter the greenhouse to collect a large amount of herbs. The researcher then provided weapons to everyone, and Murphy led the team inside. The sniper noticed zombies and immediately opened fire, but the plant zombies were not afraid of bullets and instead caused Murphy pain. Murphy then controlled the zombies to retreat, allowing everyone to pass through successfully. After reaching deep inside, they began to collect herbs from the surroundings. Suddenly, the large plant zombie woke up and controlled other zombies to attack through the plants. Murphy connected his consciousness to the vines and forcefully controlled the large zombie to stop. However, the large zombie resisted and pulled on Murphy's arms with the vines. Roberta stepped forward to cut the vines, allowing Murphy to escape. As Roberta prepared to follow, zombies blocked their way, and everyone had to leave the greenhouse through another route. After escaping, Murphy encountered the virus trader outside. The explosion at the research facility had only severely injured half of his face. Murphy rushed forward, preparing to strangle him, but the virus trader proposed a plan to help Murphy rule the Earth. At that moment, the Mafia arrived, and the two quickly hid. The Mafia boss met with the researcher as usual to pick up a large quantity of zombie tobacco. The researcher then hoped to invest heavily in the nearly completed zombie antidote research, but the high death toll among the villagers made the mafia boss skeptical. They took the researcher outside, just as Roberta and her group arrived, and seized all the herbs they had collected. They then decided to test the zombie antidote on the researcher. They killed a villager and prepared the mutated zombies. They then injected the plant-based antidote into a smoking device and forced the researcher to inhale it. When he inhaled the plant antidote, he immediately turned into a zombie. The researcher's antidote was declared a failure. At this time, the mafia members caught the virus traitor, knocked him out, and took him away. As the mafia boss left, he ordered his men to burn down the greenhouse. Murphy returned to the depths of the greenhouse to save the plants. The large zombie carrying it left the greenhouse. Suddenly, mafia members entered, and the plant zombies nearby attacked. Soon, all the plant zombies began to lose control, and Murphy could no longer control them. He quickly fled the greenhouse, but was pulled back by the vines. Roberta stepped forward to rescue him, and the large zombie uncontrollably rushed out to attack everyone. The special agent fired his gun but couldn't harm its bulletproof muscles. The sniper and Addie approached to attack but were knocked down. Cassandra was also thrown aside. Just as Murphy was about to be caught, everyone hurriedly wrapped the vines into a large fan. The large zombie and the vines were immediately shredded by the fan, resulting in their death. Then, the group prepared to leave the greenhouse and head to the next location. After driving for a while, everyone on the road was surprised to discover that the blonde woman was pregnant. Excitedly, she announced that she was carrying Murphy's child. Later, the car broke down in a town overrun with zombies. As they were relentlessly pursued by the undead, they came across a giant cheese that held a world record. Roberta quickly pushed it down a hillside, using it to crush a large number of zombies before resting next to the car. The pregnant blonde's morning sickness forced the group to pause. Suddenly, they were attacked by bandits. The sniper immediately shot one of the attackers. At that moment, the blonde woman grabbed a machine gun and sprayed bullets at the bandits' location, swiftly killing them all. The group then took the bandits' vehicle and continued their journey, eventually arriving at a village. The sniper went ahead to check on the villagers, but was soon followed by a strange type of zombie. He attacked the zombie with the butt of his gun, but the zombie sprayed a fine powder. He then killed the zombie with his knife. As he questioned the villagers, they all hid in fear. The sniper returned to regroup and told everyone about the strange powder on the zombies. More zombies appeared, and Addie stepped forward to fight. After killing the zombies, she too was sprayed with the powder. Doc knocked a zombie to the ground, and the sniper killed it, both getting covered with the powder. A village boy then warned them that the area was unsafe. These powder zombies could release a powder upon death, carrying a highly infectious virus. When attacked, they sprayed this viral powder. Suddenly, the sniper collapsed, and Doc quickly fetched medicine from the car. Meanwhile, the blonde woman's water broke, and she was ready to give birth. The sniper was taken to the infirmary, where a nurse provided medical treatment. The boy explained that the medicine couldn't cure everyone, so they used it sparingly to fight the virus. Doc prepared to help with the delivery as Murphy nervously anticipated fatherhood. The boy then led the group to a town pharmacy to gather more medicine. There, they found a man who, in a state of panic after consuming all the drugs in a suicide attempt, begged to be killed. Addie refused his request. In a desperate move, he attacked the agent with a syringe, forcing them to kill him for safety. The boy protested, urging empathy and assistance for the mentally ill. Back in the village, they received news that the sniper was on the verge of death. Suddenly, Addie collapsed as the virus spread. They placed her in a quarantine room. Roberta, learning that Doc was a former U.S. soldier and vaccinated against various diseases, decided to take all the village's medicine to focus on treating a few to ensure recovery. This decision was made to enable the team to escort Murphy to the disease center to save the world. In the medical room, the villagers, already aware of their plan, had gathered, resigned to their fate. Roberta, moved by their peaceful and forgiving nature, laid down her weapons and shared the mission with them. Despite their own needs, the villagers embraced the truth that kindness was paramount and forgave her actions. In the end, the blonde woman happily gave birth to a daughter, whose cries attracted a large number of zombies. Murphy felt the joy of fatherhood as his daughter autonomously bit through her umbilical cord and then fell into a deep sleep. At that moment, Roberta realized they were surrounded by a horde of zombies. Suddenly, the baby began to cry loudly, drawing the zombies into an attack. The crying also disrupted Murphy's ability to control the situation, and everyone began to fight fiercely against the zombies in the cramped breeding room. In a sudden outburst, the blonde woman screamed to protect her newborn daughter, demonstrating maternal love as she fought the zombies crazily, allowing Roberta and her group to escape from the scene. As they retreated to the door, they saw the blonde woman surrounded by zombies and ultimately killed. She then reanimated as a zombie. Roberta shot her to grant her release, leaving Murphy devastated. To him, the blonde woman was like a mother, willing to endure all pain and sacrifice for the sake of her child. Determined, he resolved to be a good father, dedicating his life's love to his daughter and vowing to protect her just as her mother would have. After surviving the danger, the group continued their journey to the next location. Upon arriving at the next town, they encountered a massive zombie attack. The baby's continuous crying drew more zombies towards them. Murphy focused hard and managed to stop many zombies in their tracks. However, the baby's incessant crying disturbed the zombies, causing Murphy to lose control. The zombies advanced toward the baby, preparing to attack. At that moment, Murphy handed his daughter to Doc, who immediately ran into a bus to hide. Unfortunately, the baby's cries awakened many zombies inside the bus, trapping Doc. Roberta promptly opened the bus door, grabbed the baby, and they all fled. Then, they launched an attack, desperately killing the surrounding zombies. After eliminating all the zombies, they escaped into a secluded forest to rest for a moment. The agent thought the baby's continual attraction to zombies put everyone at risk. Roberta then told everyone that they must protect the baby because she carries Murphy's genes, which might be key to developing a zombie vaccine. After a while, they realized that the agent had not returned. Roberta went alone to look for him, asking everyone else to stay and wait in the forest. She discovered that the agent had gone into town and secretly observed him meeting with mafia members through a telescope. Meanwhile, Doc came to check on the baby and saw her chewing on her finger like a pacifier. Hoping to check her health, Doc wanted to help, but Murphy, suspecting ulterior motives, took his baby for a walk nearby and ordered Cassandra to ensure no one followed them. Back to Roberta's side, she saw the agent shoot and kill a mafia member, but more members quickly came to confront him. The agent was surrounded and knocked to the ground, with the mafia preparing to kill him. Roberta immediately opened fire on the enemy, and the agent picked up a small gun and fired back, but was shot by the enemy. Roberta rushed forward to help him, and in the ensuing gunfire, both were hit and started losing a lot of blood. They hurriedly looked for a place to bandage their wounds. Afterward, they entered the hospital through the garage door, finding many bodies placed aside. Zombies outside discovered them, continuously slamming into the door and waking the dormant zombies inside the hospital. However, they were out of ammunition. The agent picked up a metal rod to use as a weapon and killed the awakened zombies. With a severe shoulder injury, Roberta managed to load her gun with one hand. As the zombies broke through the door and charged at her, she immediately shot and killed them. They then quickly looked for medical supplies to stitch up their wounds. Meanwhile, in the forest, everyone was worried that Murphy might run away and leave the group. The three decided to run in different directions, making it difficult for Cassandra to catch everyone. She sprinted forward and tackled Addie to the ground. Doc and the sniper heard screams, stopped and turned back to check. Addie's arm was nearly twisted off, and Cassandra warned everyone not to leave. Back to Roberta, the two hid in a room and closed the door. The zombies, drawn by the sound of the door, moved toward Roberta's direction. Zombies relied on sounds to locate their prey. After evading the zombies, they opened an inner door, but the handle made a loud noise and the zombies turned back, ready to attack Roberta. The agent immediately killed the approaching zombie. They then entered an operating room to find medical tools, and the agent began stitching up Roberta's wounds first. Without painkillers, the procedure was excruciating. Then it was Roberta's turn to stitch up the agent. On the sniper's side, he decided to confront Cassandra alone, allowing Doc and Addie to prepare to look for Murphy. As the sniper approached Cassandra, he signaled for everyone to run. Cassandra, infuriated, let out a furious scream and charged at the sniper, engaging in a fight. Roberta was stitching up the agent's wounds. While talking with the agent, it turned out that his wife and child had been harmed by the mafia, which is why he was constantly tracking down the killer. After stitching up the wounds, he also lost too much blood and fell unconscious. Meanwhile, Murphy, being chased by many zombies, found a house to seek refuge. Just then, the homeowner came out with a shotgun and killed all the zombies following them, allowing Murphy inside. The homeowner's wife, seeing Murphy with his baby, hurried to help prepare cow's milk, as Murphy was worried about his daughter being taken to a disease center to become an experimental subject for a vaccine. Therefore, he requested that they take care of his daughter. The couple, having no children of their own, happily agreed to adopt her. Just then, the baby suddenly woke up, showing zombie-like teeth and eyes. They were frightened and handed the zombie baby back to Murphy, urging them to leave quickly. Roberta desperately tried to save the unconscious agent and found he had no heartbeat. She was preparing to declare him dead when he suddenly started breathing again and was successfully revived by Roberta. Meanwhile, the sniper was severely injured after being thrown by Cassandra. Following a fierce muscle wrestling, Cassandra attempted to break his neck. In a desperate bid to defend himself, the sniper used a knife to fatally wound her. The dehumanized Cassandra died after being stabbed in a vital spot. The sniper then buried her and regrouped with the others, informing them of her death. At this time, Murphy returned to the group, and noticing the absence of Cassandra, Roberta informed him of her death. Angered, Murphy prepared to attack, but was restrained by Roberta. It was then discovered that Murphy did not return with his baby and was unwilling to disclose her whereabouts. It turned out that Murphy had bitten the homeowner couple, using the virus to control their minds, and ordered them to care for his daughter until she was grown. After some time, a dentist's van was seen driving outdoors, offering free teeth cleaning services to survivors on the road. As the survivors sat down in the service chair, the dentist pressed the start button and they were immediately thrown into the back of the van. In reality, the dentist's vehicle was a tool for capturing humans. Roberta arrived at a riverbank ready to cross by boat. After killing zombies on the boat, she discovered the boatman hiding inside. The boatman then continued to ferry everyone forward. Along the way, they encountered the arms dealer who joined Roberta. He informed everyone that nearby villages had people impersonating Murphy, using the promise of a zombie antidote to scam the villages for supplies. When the boat was hit hard by a massive number of zombies in the river, preparing to sink it, Roberta urged everyone to jump into the river and escape. After reaching the shore, the sniper got separated from the group, but later encountered the arms dealer and decided to travel together in search of Roberta. On the road, they met residents of a labor village who thought the arms dealer was there to seize their territory. As the residents were about to shoot, the arms dealer quickly told them that his companion was the legendary Murphy himself, and that a bite from Murphy could provide a zombie vaccine. He asked the residents to trade supplies for the vaccine, then secretly took their belongings. He allowed the residents to hold down one person for his friend to bite. Believing him, the residents were very grateful to the arms dealer, but he accidentally dropped the stolen items as they were leaving, immediately being labeled a thief. Because of that, they had to quickly escape. After some time, the trio came across the dentist's van parked by the roadside. The arms dealer stole the van, and they continued on to their next destination. Upon arriving at the labor village, the village chief mistook them for associates of the dentist. It was only then that they discovered the van was filled with a large number of zombies. It turns out, the labor village specialized in purchasing zombie slaves to generate electricity. After welcoming the group, the sniper noticed a woman observing from a distance and went to investigate. He was confronted by the woman, who held him at gunpoint, mistaking him for a villain involved in capturing humans to turn them into zombie slaves. Just as she was about to shoot, the sniper explained that he was only pretending to be an associate of the dentist and had actually been separated from Roberta's team, stopping at the labor village for a brief rest. He also mentioned that he planned to meet with Roberta at the river crossing bridge. The woman then shared that her husband had been brutally killed and turned into a zombie slave. She believed the labor village was profoundly evil and was waiting for the right moment to destroy it. At this point, the dentist whose van was stolen returned to the village in search of the thief. When the arms dealer and his group were discovered, they were subjected to a public trial. Since the labor village was also managed by the mafia boss acted as judge. The arms dealer then began to explain to everyone, stating that he had not committed theft, but was instead seeking employment opportunities during the zombie apocalypse. He claimed that he had taken the dentist's van to complete a job and had indeed worked hard for the village. The villagers agreed with the arms dealer's statement. Meanwhile, the sniper secretly signaled to the woman to go to the river bridge to find Roberta and her group. Subsequently, the other villagers returned to the village, accusing them of being swindlers. In the end, the mafia boss sentenced the arms dealer and his group to be hanged. Elsewhere, Roberta was waiting for the sniper on the bridge. After a lengthy wait, and just as she was about to leave, the woman finally arrived at the bridge to meet up with her. She was prepared to lead the group to the labor village to rescue the sniper. Sometime later, the mafia boss ordered the hanging of the arms dealer and his companions. Doc and Addie immediately opened fire, rescuing the arms dealer and the sniper. The mafia boss quickly fled the village with his men. Afterwards, Murphy commanded the zombie slaves to halt their actions. The woman quickly untied the zombies, and the zombie slaves began attacking the villagers, creating total chaos. Roberta drove the dentist's van to help everyone escape from the zombies, but they encountered an obstacle on the road that made it impossible to continue. They immediately got out of the van, climbed over the obstacle, switched to another car, and continued on to the next destination. After a while, their supplies were nearly exhausted, and everyone had been hungry for a long time. Doc and Murphy went into the jungle to gather food. From a distance, a bloody smell wafted through the air. Murphy left the group to investigate and saw a brain hanging from a tree. Starving, he prepared to eat the brain, but accidentally fell into a trap and was knocked unconscious. Roberta noticed Murphy's disappearance and quickly turned back to search for him. Meanwhile, Murphy, who had fallen into the trap, regained consciousness and saw a zombie eating the brain. He stood up and started shouting for help, but no one responded. At that moment, a fully armed man entered and subdued Murphy like a girl. Murphy tried to control the zombie to launch an attack, but the zombie was easily killed. Sometime later, Murphy was tied to an operating table. The man who had kidnapped him, referred to as the head collector, came over with a zombie head. He started dissecting the zombie's head and took out the brain for his collection. Murphy, parched, struggled to speak. The head collector assumed Murphy was a zombie capable of speech and prepared to dissect him. After some effort, Murphy managed to communicate and explain that he had been separated from his team. The collector then played a recording on a pen, broadcasting a bounty for Murphy. He quickly lifted his shirt to confirm that he had captured the right person. The collector then released Murphy, but fitted a shock collar around his neck and activated it, warning Murphy that any attempt to escape would result in painful electric shocks. The head collector then offered Murphy hot water to bathe and changed him into luxurious clothing. Hearing noise outside, he discovered the collector fighting with zombies. Murphy quickly grabbed a stick and knocked the collector down, turning to leave the area. However, he was not knocked unconscious and shot Murphy with a tranquilizer gun. When Murphy awoke, he was tied to a wheelchair and had a large amount of blood drawn. The collector then started a video camera, intending to create an interview video with Murphy. Unless Murphy cooperated, he would be subjected to severe electric shocks and coerced into eating a brain. Overwhelmed by hunger, Murphy desperately began to eat. After the recording, the two went to a zombie exhibition room filled with various types of zombies, which greatly surprised Murphy. Even the frenzied zombies were caged on display platforms, all restrained by invisible electric walls and unable to move. Next, they entered a room where a renowned novelist turned zombie was confined. At that moment, Murphy, wielding a hefty novel, knocked the collector down and ran towards the exit, while the collector chased closely behind with a gun. Upon reaching the main door, Murphy found it was already locked and escape was impossible. Soon after, the collector caught up, and an infuriated Murphy demanded that he open the door. Eventually, the collector pressed a switch, unlocking the electronic lock of the main door. Just as Murphy was about to leave, the cunning collector immediately unleashed a strong electric current, knocking Murphy to the ground, drained of the strength to stand up again. Elsewhere, the sniper saw zombies constantly moving on the road and thought he could follow them to find Murphy. He immediately followed them to check. Back at the museum, zombies suddenly attacked the main door. When the collector noticed Murphy was hurt, he couldn't activate his control ability, causing the zombies to revert to normal behavior and stop attacking the door. At this moment, the sniper killed the zombies and reached the museum's entrance. Then, the collector instantly activated the electric device, causing Murphy such pain that he couldn't make a sound. The sniper approached to ask what happened, but the collector claimed he hadn't seen anyone. The sniper then left the door, but suspecting the collector's strange behavior, he decided to sneak into the museum from the side to look for Murphy. After a while, the sniper infiltrated the museum and discovered it was filled with a large number of zombies, with Murphy already on display on a platform. At that moment, the collector ambushed him from behind, delivering a strong electric shock that knocked the sniper to the ground, unable to get up. When he woke up, he found himself also fitted with an electric shock device, in too much pain to move freely. Then the collector wanted to understand the changes caused by Murphy biting humans, using strong electric shocks on both men to force them to undergo tests. Roberta searched everywhere but could not find any trace of Murphy. Suddenly, she heard gunshots from the museum and hurried over to check. It turned out that the collector was firing warning shots, threatening to kill the sniper if Murphy didn't cooperate. Just as Murphy was about to bite, he had already controlled the zombies to break free of their restraints and launched an attack. Overwhelmed by the zombies, the collector was knocked to the ground and devoured. Afterward, Murphy, completely drained, slumped in a wheelchair. When Murphy lost consciousness, his control over the zombies ceased, and they rose to attack the two. At that moment, Roberta and her group arrived at the scene and killed all the zombies. Everyone then returned to their vehicle. Frightened, Murphy pleaded with Roberta not to abandon him at the disease center. The group then set off for their next destination. Sometime later, a woman was chased by zombies in the desert. Suddenly, beams of light illuminated the zombies, disintegrating them into pieces. The woman was saved by a mysterious machine in the sky. Back to Roberta, she continued to search for a town in the desert. Along the road, they encountered strangely cut zombies that were still alive. Suddenly, the car lost power and couldn't be started again, and the radio transmitted strange signals. At the same time, a mysterious flying object appeared behind them, quickly flew to the front, and instantly disintegrated the zombies into pieces. Everyone was stunned. After the flying object left, the car regained power. The next morning, Roberta's group arrived at a mysterious village. Soon, zombies from afar also followed. The sniper easily killed the zombies. After entering the mysterious village, they saw a store selling alien memorabilia and discovered other survivors inside. A man informed everyone that the area was protected by aliens and it was very safe to stay there. Then the village's administrator, the exact woman who had been saved by the mysterious flying object, came to meet the group. The villagers believed she could communicate with the aliens. The administrator received a message from the aliens that there was a savior among Roberta's team. They believed Murphy, whose body had turned blue, was the holy messenger sent to save the world. The villagers were overjoyed, thinking the apocalyptic disaster was about to end. They then offered food to Roberta and her companions. Suddenly, a peculiar man approached and claimed that the residents were just obsessed with sci-fi movies from Daniel CC Movie Channel. He believed that aliens did not exist. Murphy, who disliked alien stories, was relieved to find a villager with a sensible mind. At that moment, the peculiar man told everyone that it was impossible for aliens to save Earth because he was the real alien. Angry, Murphy chased the peculiar man away. The sniper then informed everyone that he had discovered an old Air Force base nearby. Roberta decided to head to the base to find a flying object, which could quickly take them to the disease center. Suddenly, the special agent reflexively drew his handgun. The administrator appeared instantly beside them, willing to lead the group to the base, and informed them that it was frequented by aliens. Later, the administrator led everyone to an inconspicuous house. As they entered, zombies emerged from a room. Roberta immediately rushed forward to protect the administrator, killing the zombies with a knife. Addie also fought alongside, quickly eliminating all the zombies. Then, the administrator took everyone to a room and asked Doc to help retrieve food from a vending machine. At that moment, the administrator buckled her seatbelt, and Doc pressed the vending machine button, activating a secret mechanism. After the doors and windows locked, the room rapidly descended. The administrator informed everyone that they had arrived at the alien base. As they exited the room, they heard strange sounds. Terrified of alien creatures, Murphy hesitated to move forward. Then the administrator ran inside and everyone followed to check. After running for a while, the group came across some strange creatures squatting on the ground. The administrator pleaded not to harm the aliens, but Murphy sensed the presence of zombies. As the creature slowly approached, everyone immediately opened fire. However, the creature was wearing bulletproof gear and was ultimately killed by the sniper, who shot it through their peeping eyes. As the group approached to investigate, Roberta noticed a self-destruct device on the gear and quickly moved aside. The explosion shattered the creature into onion pieces. Next, the group entered a control room and discovered a high-tech touch system. Addie began to investigate the system's data, while Roberta and others continued to explore, finding access to global information and records of Murphy becoming a vaccine. The classified documents revealed a safe place called Alien Zone. Roberta then encountered another strange creature standing ahead. The administrator decided to approach and urged everyone not to fire. Suddenly, another creature appeared from behind and approached the group. The sniper immediately shot and killed it. Meanwhile, the creature in front grabbed the administrator's sexy body and quickly left the scene, wanting to enjoy her alone. Roberta followed to check, and the sniper picked up a high-tech gun from the ground. After activating it, he also managed to kill the emerging zombies. When everyone reached the hall, they saw beams of light shining on the administrator. Soon after, everyone arrived at the scene and was astonished to see a UFO. Suddenly, the UFO shot down beams of light, drawing Murphy closer slowly. Roberta rushed forward to stop him. The UFO then fired at the group, repelling them, and the sniper responded by shooting at the UFO with the high-tech gun, but it wasn't destroyed. The UFO retaliated, and the sniper dropped the gun and ran for his shitty life. Finally, Roberta picked up the gun, firing more powerful bullets that hit the UFO, causing it to stop its beam and crash to the ground in an explosion. Everyone hurried to check the scene. The severely injured creature lay on the ground, and Roberta removed its helmet, only to discover it was the peculiar man wearing the gear, leading everyone to believe he was a strange creature. The man revealed that there were actually no aliens, and he was a pilot from the National Technology Center tasked with retrieving technological equipment. The UFO was merely an undisclosed high-tech aircraft. He also informed them about the alien zone, free from zombies but with residential restrictions, which is why he could not take everyone and chose to secretly take the administrator and Murphy instead. After the peculiar man turned into a peculiar zombie following his death, the administrator shot him to end his peculiar life. She then decided to keep the secret to prevent the villagers from losing hope. After the incident, Roberta and her group decided to continue their journey by car to the next location. After a while, Roberta and her group continued their journey in a camper van, attempting to make contact through the radio and waiting for a response from the communicator. Meanwhile, at the National Security Bureau, the communicator was constantly attacked by zombies, but managed to kill them and successfully establish contact with Addie. The satellite map then revealed that Roberta was about to encounter a massive horde of zombies. Using binoculars for confirmation, she spotted an unprecedented zombie storm. Since the camper van couldn't climb slopes to evade the zombies, the group had to switch to an off-road vehicle. However, with limited seating, Doc and the sniper decided to seek refuge on a hillside until the zombie storm passed, planning to regroup with the others afterward. Upon reaching an Indian city, the tribal guards were unwelcoming to outsiders. Roberta then communicated in the tribal language, warning them of the impending zombie storm, which persuaded the guards to let them in. On the other hand, as Doc and the sniper climbed the hill, Doc was suddenly attacked and knocked unconscious by a large rock. The sniper also suffered an electric shock and collapsed in pain. Roberta met with the tribal chief and informed him of the zombie storm headed their way. The chief believed their base was strong enough to withstand the zombie onslaught. Meanwhile, Doc was captured by the chief's son, who suspected their presence was not merely coincidental and subjected them to torture. Doc explained their refuge on the mountain was due to the zombie threat, suggesting that the territory was also at risk and advising them to flee to higher ground. However, the chief's son didn't believe him and planned to continue harming them. At this point, the chief's daughter intervened, took them for medical treatment, and after bandaging their wounds, the chief's son demanded they leave the territory immediately. Doc stepped into a trap just a few steps away, and the sniper was hung in midair. It turned out the chief's son had set these traps intentionally to use them as bait for the zombies, thereby protecting the territory. As zombies appeared in the distance and approached Doc, the chief's daughter shot and killed them with arrows, rescuing the two men. She then expressed her fear that the city might not withstand the zombie horde and suggested they head to the mountains for refuge before riding towards the city. Upon reaching the city, the group reunited. Murphy sensed that this zombie horde was particularly strong, and the agent urged everyone to evacuate to the mountains. As everyone prepared to leave, the chief refused to abandon the city he had worked hard to build and asked his people to follow his daughter to the mountains to escape the disaster. After they left, the city collapsed under the zombie attack. They successfully reached the mountains, where the chief's son mourned the death of his father, but eventually accepted his sister's suggestion to cooperate in fighting off the zombies. When zombies suddenly appeared, Roberta immediately shot them. The group then devised a plan to use traditional tribal methods to set up a large firewall to block the zombies' path. As the zombie storm arrived, they monitored the situation from the side. When the zombies charged into the fire, Murphy sensed their pain and rushed forward to save them, but Roberta stopped him. Suddenly, the zombies changed course and ran toward the cliff, falling into the valley below, allowing everyone to survive the crisis. The chief's son thanked everyone for helping protect their homeland. Roberta and her companions then continued on to their next destination. After some time, everyone reached the smoke-filled forest. They eliminated the pursuing zombies and saw a large hotel after passing through the forest. However, the front door was locked and inaccessible. As zombies followed from behind, Murphy quickly controlled them to leave, buying more time to unlock the door. Inside the hotel, many tenants were staying, worried about outsiders bringing danger. The tenant with glasses believed that Roberta could bring useful information and immediately rushed forward to open the door. After entering the hotel, both parties drew guns at each other. Roberta requested to leave the hotel immediately once the smoke and zombies dispersed. The hotel manager, a communication expert, insisted that all issues should be resolved through dialogue. While resting at the hotel, Murphy ran to the kitchen to look for food, and suddenly, gunshots were heard. Everyone hurried to check and found Murphy and a tenant shot. They quickly placed the two on a table. The tenant died from a critical wound, but fortunately, Murphy's gunshot wound was not severe, though he was unconscious from a severe head injury. The special agent analyzed that a single bullet had passed through both individuals, hitting Murphy first before striking the tenant. The bullet had Murphy's blood on it, which is why the deceased tenant did not turn into a zombie. Later, the manager called for a meeting to resolve the issue through communication. Roberta, infuriated, demanded that the perpetrator be caught. At this time, the agent found a large bag of food, speculating that some tenant had stolen a significant amount of food and was preparing to leave the hotel, and had been discovered by Murphy, who was then shot. The manager suspected the tenant with glasses, the only one in charge of the storeroom, and later exiled him from the hotel as punishment for theft. Meanwhile, Doc noticed that Murphy seemed to be having nightmares but still could not be awakened. More zombies gathered outside, constantly attacking the hotel's doors and windows. When the manager checked the storeroom, he found another tenant had been killed and turned into a zombie. Roberta immediately kicked the zombie out of the storeroom just as a female tenant passed by, and the zombie immediately attacked her, mistaking her for a handsome man. The sniper came to the rescue and killed the zombie, but was grabbed by the now transformed tenant. The agent then shot the zombie. Everyone in the hotel began searching for the murderer. Addie checked the upstairs danger zone, and a zombie suddenly appeared behind them. They quickly hid in a closet, and the zombie entered the room searching for prey. The agent and Roberta came to the rescue. Murphy, still having nightmares, attracted a large number of zombies, and the wooden barriers were also broken through by the zombies. Roberta immediately killed the zombies. The side door's fence almost couldn't withstand the large number of zombies that surrounded the hotel. Then zombies successfully broke the glass and entered the hotel. Everyone immediately took refuge in the storeroom, scared and arguing loudly. At this point, the manager decided to use communication to catch the real murderer. At that moment, the shot tenant became a half-zombie and woke up. Doc asked him to identify the thief. The discovered murderer then threatened everyone with a gun, but the half-zombie immediately took revenge and shot the murderer, who also fired back before dying. Addie then killed the zombie-transformed murderer. Afterwards, they heard knocking at the door and saw the exiled tenant with glasses when they opened it. The manager approached him and said he was not the murderer, asking for his forgiveness since he wronged him. Angered, the man with glasses immediately killed the manager with a club. Then Murphy finally woke up and the zombies calmed down and left the hotel. In the end, all the tenants were very happy to finally be free from the manager's control. They provided a large amount of food, thanking Roberta for her help. Roberta and her party continued driving to the next location. After some time, the group reached the border of Mexico, surrounded by zombies in a house. The special agent fired at the horde, annihilating numerous zombies. Roberta and her companions, including the severely injured Murphy, navigated through zombie-infested areas. The agent kept running ahead, clearing the path of zombies, while the sniper hidden nearby also took down many undead. They then carried Murphy into a building. Addie led the way, eliminating zombies as they broke through the hazardous area. Upon their breakthrough, they encountered an even larger assembly of zombies at the border entrance. The zombies slowly encircled them. Murphy, too weak to continue walking, was asked by Roberta to try and control the zombies to leave. Murphy focused his mind to control the undead, but the overwhelming numbers rendered his efforts ineffective. At this point, people on the walls started bombing the zombies, and soon a large number of soldiers arrived for the rescue. Suddenly, the mafia boss emerged from an underground passage, urging everyone to quickly take refuge in the tunnel. Following this, the mafia's troops launched an attack, wiping out all the zombies. Once inside the tunnel, the mafia troops held everyone at gunpoint. Murphy revealed that he was the legendary individual immune to the zombie virus by showing bite marks after removing his shirt. Believing Murphy's claim, the mafia boss led everyone to the mafia headquarters, informing them of the unlimited resources available there. Numerous zombies were confined nearby, serving as a power source for the headquarters. They traversed through the tunnel door to arrive at the mafia headquarters, which was secure and free of zombies. Upon arriving at the garden, Roberta's group met with the Queen of the Dead, the founder and supreme leader of the mafia. The Queen thanked Roberta for bringing Murphy and then led everyone inside, revealing the mafia's intent to develop a zombie antidote to distribute worldwide. Once order was restored, the mafia's influence would control the planet. In the lab, they found that the virus trader was one of the mafia's researchers. The infuriated Roberta wanted to confront him, but was stopped by the Queen. She then instructed Murphy and the virus trader to start producing a zombie vaccine. She also requested that Roberta and her group join the mafia, offering them endless resources and a safe life at the headquarters. The special agent felt that the mafia's way meant non-cooperation could lead to death. To save their lives and rescue Murphy, Roberta agreed to the invitation and was taken to undergo a trial for joining. Afterwards, the group was confined in a small space. The mafia boss explained that passing the zombie challenge would complete their initiation ceremony. Everyone quickly grabbed close combat weapons and started the first level. A zombie suddenly lunged from an adjacent cage, but Addie easily killed it. The mafia boss then informed them they would proceed directly to the final level. Astonishingly, a large number of zombies appeared from the cage, ready to attack. The special agent, reminded of the murderer of his family by the mafia boss's speech, turned off all the lights and then opened the cage, releasing a multitude of zombies. Fortunately, everyone's extensive combat experience allowed them to eliminate all the zombies. The Queen was pleased with Roberta's performance and led everyone to change their clothes. Meanwhile, the virus trader created a viral control agent using Murphy's blood and secretly injected a guard with the virus. The guard, now a semi-zombie, awoke in the lab and attempted to attack Murphy. However, Murphy still had some control over the semi-zombie, who then collapsed uncontrollably. The virus trader decided to adjust the virus formula once again. Everyone enjoyed the top-notch services after joining the mafia gang. Doc took on a style. The massage therapist wanted to get intimate with the sniper. Eventually, everyone changed into the combat attire and participated in the celebration activities. Murphy was treated like royalty, which he thoroughly enjoyed. During this time, the special agent stealthily approached the mafia boss, preparing to avenge the death of his wife and children. However, just as he was about to fire his gun, Roberta noticed and intervened to stop him. Her intervention failed, and the agent was subdued by the guards and then taken away, facing interrogation by the mafia boss. In the basement, the mafia boss threatened to use a whisk on him, which terrified the agent. Just then, other members arrived to inform the mafia boss that the zombie antidote had been successfully developed and was ready to be presented to the Queen. This news spared the agent from a painful fate. After some time, the virus trader announced the successful creation of the zombie vaccine, planning to inject the Queen with a virus control agent aiming to rule the mafia alongside Murphy. However, the cautious Queen wanted to test it on someone first. At this point, Roberta suggested that the virus trader should be the first to receive the vaccine to see the results. Concerned about deception, the Queen ordered the virus trader to inject himself first. With no way to defy the order, he reluctantly injected the vaccine into his arm. Then, members brought a box containing a zombie head and forced him to reach inside and let the zombie bite him. After being bitten, the vaccine actually worked, and the virus trader did not turn into a zombie. Following this, the Queen and many others began receiving the vaccine, unaware that it was actually a fake, developed from Murphy's blood as a virus control agent. To thank Roberta for protecting Murphy along the way, the Queen also granted her the privilege of receiving the vaccine. Murphy immediately stood up, offered to administer the injection to Roberta himself, pretended to inject her, and secretly disposed of the virus. Later, the Queen ordered the virus trader to mass-produce more of the zombie vaccine. Back in the lab, the virus trader hurried to create a cure for the virus. On the other side, the special agent was taken back to the basement for interrogation, where he finally revealed the story of his family being killed. The mafia boss, unable to face his cruel past, continued to harm the agent and locked him in a zombie cell. In the lab, as the virus trader was about to inject the antidote, Murphy concentrated his powers to control him, forcing him to drop and destroy the antidote. He then ordered the virus trader to produce more of the control virus. When Roberta came to check, she discovered that those injected with the fake vaccine could be controlled by Murphy. She then returned to inform everyone that the mafia members had become Murphy's slaves. Deciding to act before everyone was controlled, they quickly rescued the agent and continued with Murphy towards the disease control center. At that moment, the mafia members came to inform Roberta to gather in the hall. She asked everyone to prepare to head to the tunnel and start the escape plan. After arriving in the hall, the mafia boss received the critical information. He believed that Roberta was there to dismantle the mafia, and she must be executed immediately. Just as the mafia boss was about to shoot, Murphy controlled the queen, who then ordered the mafia boss to be locked in the basement. Roberta followed suit, preparing to rescue the agent. However, at this moment, all those who had received the vaccine began to lose control and prepared to attack Murphy. In response, Murphy cut his hand with a knife, letting his blood drip onto the ground, only to discover that everyone was craving his blood. Murphy quickly took the virus trader back to the lab. Meanwhile, Roberta reached the basement and found that the vaccinated guards were losing control. She immediately killed the guards and rescued the special agent, then locked the mafia boss in the zombie cell. On Murphy's end, he realized that the virus trader was out of control and unable to regain his senses. As the virus trader prepared to attack, Roberta struck him from behind, severing his head, which surprisingly brought him back to his senses. The group immediately fled the mafia headquarters. After a while, the queen regained her senses and came to the lab. Finding the virus trader's severed head on the floor, she realized that Roberta and her group had escaped. Hearing the queen approaching, Doc suggested releasing the zombies in the tunnel to block the mafia's pursuit. Murphy then controlled a large number of zombies to burst through the iron doors and attack the mafia, while the mafia members continued to kill the zombies as they chased after the group. Roberta urged everyone to escape through the tunnel and stayed behind alone to wait for Murphy. Once everyone had escaped the tunnel and returned to the border, all the surrounding zombies had already been eliminated. When Murphy arrived, the two hurriedly fled, with a large number of zombies following close behind. Everyone successfully escaped the tunnel and returned to the surface. Just as they were preparing to leave, the mafia boss surprisingly killed a zombie in the cell and also escaped. As Roberta prepared to shoot him, the special agent expressed a desire to fight him instead to avenge his dead family. Already severely injured, the agent continued to sustain more attacks and was knocked to the ground, recalling images of his deceased wife and children. He then struck the mafia boss's neck with a furious attack, eventually throwing him into the tunnel to be attacked by a swarm of zombies. Afterwards, everyone left the scene and spotted several intact sports cars nearby. The group then drove off, continuing to the next location. After some time, the NSA's communicator discovered a system malfunction. The system then indicated that the database had been breached. Immediately, the communicator attempted to pinpoint the hacker's location and found that the hacker was collecting information on Murphy. To prevent further data theft, the communicator quickly sabotaged the main computer at the base. Meanwhile, following the coordinates, Roberta and her group were nearing the disease control center. To their surprise, they arrived at a bar instead. Roberta decided to investigate with the agent, instructing the others to stay aside to avoid falling into a trap. They also had Murphy change his appearance to avoid attracting bounty hunters. Upon entering the bar, they were greeted only by the manager serving at the bar. The experienced agent immediately demanded that the manager reveal any hidden firearms. After the manager placed a gun on the table and started making tea, they confirmed that there were no other traps in the house and allowed everyone to enter the bar to rest. Murphy disguised himself as a demure young lady to hide his identity. When the manager inquired about the purpose of their visit, bounty hunters also arrived at the bar. Several hunters entered and informed the manager about capturing Murphy for a bounty, then displayed a blue-colored zombie. The manager promptly served drinks. As the hunters approached the group and invited them to drink in celebration, one of the hunters began to harass Murphy, mistaking for a sexy lady. The situation escalated when the hunter threw a flask to Murphy, and the zombie mimicked the action, revealing Murphy's peculiar identity. The hunters demanded Murphy remove his disguise. When he did, Murphy immediately controlled the zombie to attack, and everyone opened fire, killing all the bounty hunters. The manager then revealed a heavy weapon and demanded everyone drop their guns before confirming Murphy's true identity. It was then that they noticed the sniper had been shot and was down. The manager quickly went outside to fire a flare, signaling the submarine offshore. It turned out that the disease control center had been operating from a submarine all along. Meanwhile, the communicator decided to leave the base with supplies and head to the next location. Back at the bar, the disease control center sent many personnel to the site. The captain entered the bar and the medical staff immediately checked on the sniper's condition. The lead doctor who had secretly vaccinated Murphy also arrived. After confirming identities, they quickly escorted Murphy to the submarine and took the severely injured sniper back to the base for treatment. With the mission finally accomplished, everyone was reluctant to part with Murphy. They could only wait for the vaccine to be completed and for the world to slowly return to normal. Suddenly, everyone was ambushed. Everyone quickly sought cover to hide. The special agent noticed that it was members of the Mafia who were chasing them. A relentless barrage of gunfire targeted them. The Mafia queen immediately ordered her members to counterattack. The bar manager then emerged with a shotgun to help. Everyone quickly took refuge inside the bar to prepare for a defense, only to discover they were out of ammunition. The manager then opened a weapons cabinet to arm everyone. At the disease control center, the medical team immediately treated the injured sniper. Murphy was then taken to the control center. The captain announced that they would be heading to the alien zone. It turns out the disease control center had not been working for the government for some time. Before the zombie virus outbreak, a group of wealthy individuals had already constructed an island in the alien zone, which was free from zombies and intended as a development area for future generations. The original world was to be abandoned to its fate. At this point, Murphy noticed something odd about the personnel on the ship. Their eyes emitted a strange white glow. He intentionally knocked over a cup to draw attention and observed that most of the personnel exhibited this unusual sign. Back to Roberta, the Queen demanded that Murphy be handed over. The agent secretly fired a shot but accidentally missed killing the Queen. She then ordered an attack and a large number of members stormed toward the bar. The enemy's firepower was overwhelming, putting Roberta in a tough spot. Although she kept taking down the enemies, the bar manager was hit by a bullet in a critical spot and turned into a zombie. She immediately attacked Doc, who then pushed her heavy body against the wall, allowing the enemies outside to decapitate her. Murphy was tied to a bed, ready for a blood test. He inquired about the glowing eyes, and the lead doctor informed him that it was a side effect of the vaccine trial. In the alien zone, they had been developing and testing the vaccine, with only a select few personnel undergoing trials. However, the vaccine was only effective for a short duration, so they needed to use Murphy's blood to improve it. Murphy realized that the disease control center only intended to save the residents of the alien zone. As the lead doctor was recording his physical condition, Murphy asked the soldier to step aside. Once the soldier left, Murphy stood up and threatened the lead doctor. He believed the disease control center was selfish, only willing to help the wealthy of the alien zone. Since they were not willing to help the world, Murphy was unwilling to cooperate. Back to Roberta, most of the enemies had been eliminated. Then, a member using a cane entered, but Roberta had run out of bullets. Suddenly, Addie picked up a large stick and engaged in combat. However, her weapon was broken, and she was quickly knocked to the ground. As the enemy prepared to deliver the final blow, Addie grabbed a broken piece of her weapon and attacked the enemy's groin. Then, Roberta found the last bullet and shot the enemy dead. At that moment, the Queen entered through the back door, hoping to collaborate with Roberta to reorganize the Mafia. However, Roberta was unwilling to cooperate, and the Queen rushed forward to attack. After a scuffle, the Queen hit Roberta on the head, knocking her down. As the Queen picked up a syringe to attack, someone from behind launched a surprise attack and killed her. It turned out to be the Mafia boss who had saved Roberta. He then helped her up, but was knocked down by the agent. Everyone questioned the Mafia boss's motives for helping Roberta. He explained that after falling into a zombie horde, he had a near-death experience and decided to turn over a new leaf, no longer committing evil deeds. He was willing to let the agent shoot him in revenge and apologized for the killings of his family he had committed. Roberta told the agent that killing a man who had ceased to do evil would not bring back his wife and child. Eventually, the agent decided to let go of his hatred and start a new life. With no further goals, the agent chose not to continue accompanying Roberta. She and her group then took the weapons and left the scene. After traveling for a while, the Mafia boss caught up to Roberta and her group in his car. He told them that there were plenty of food and weapons in the vehicle and offered to take everyone along. Once Roberta got in the car, they decided to head to the coast to check the situation. Upon arriving at the beach, they noticed that something was off with the submarine. Using binoculars, they saw Murphy and some others returning to shore on a speedboat. Suddenly, the Disease Control Center submarine exploded and sank. Doc, using his binoculars, noticed that the sniper hadn't boarded the speedboat. At that moment, a mysterious military force appeared and held everyone at gunpoint. Meanwhile, Murphy had bitten several key individuals on the speedboat, and everyone infected with the Murphy virus could only follow Murphy's commands. Elsewhere, after leaving the base, the communicator couldn't withstand the blizzard and froze, unable to continue through the snow. After some time, Murphy's daughter rapidly grew up and controlled many zombies, playing a childish game with them. This is where Season 2 of this drama ends. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.